The 2023-2024 NHL season has definitely been a wild one. We are nearly at the Christmas break here during the season, not even at the halfway point, and so much has happened. There's some weird, wacky, strange things going on in the league this year, and we're going to talk about all of them, just do a little speed run through some of it, and if I missed anything, definitely leave it in the comments down below. But leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's get on into this one. So let's start off with, before the season even began, Mike Babcock being hired by the Columbus Blue Jackets. Well, who could have seen that that was a bad idea? Almost immediately, players were like, hey, this guy's a creep. We had a meeting and he's going through my phone. He wants to see pictures. It's really strange. And, there was conflicting reports back and forth that, maybe it wasn't as bad as it seemed, but a lot of players seemed uncomfortable. A lot of them didn't want him as the head coach. And, very deservedly so, he was fired from the Columbus Blue Jackets before he even hit the ice in training camp. So Mike Babcock, see you later. Pascal Vincent checks in, and he has done an awful job with the Blue Jackets so far. But I'd rather be a bad team than have my head coach be Mike Babcock. Keep that guy away from your kids, man. And then you have Shane Pinto, who's, a really great young centerman for the Ottawa Senators, holding out for a contract. He's an RFA, and then boom, out of nowhere, 41-game suspension for gambling on football. I think that's really weird considering, we're really not doing anything about the guys that are abusing their wives and, all the other weird stuff that players are doing in the NHL. But, I guess we're going to turn a blind eye to that. But 41 games for sports betting on football, Jesus Christ. The Arizona Coyotes, who are, famous for being bad and really not having any success whatsoever in the NHL, are all of a sudden good when no one really anticipated it. They're currently in a fight for a wildcard spot 31 games into the season. A lot of the Coyotes' youth has finally come up, like Logan Cooley. Carcone has 14 goals. He's 27 years old. Who saw that coming? Nick Schmaltz and Clayton Keller continue to be underrated. The Coyotes are just a really good team right now, and I think that they actually have a shot at maybe grabbing the last wildcard spot. Speaking of super weird, the Vancouver Canucks are second in the NHL at the time of making this, and who saw this coming? Let's look at the stats here. What is going on with JT Miller this year? Is he juicing? Is he on PEDs? 33 games and he has 45 points. Newly captained Quinn Hughes is doing, pretty much what you'd expect him to do, but that point total is still super high. Elias Pettersson having a great year. What's going on with Brock Besser? Why does he all of a sudden have 23 goals on the season in just 33 games? Remember when he was available? Remember when they were actively shopping him and no one took a chance on him? Well, I bet there's a lot of teams wishing that they had now. Not to mention that in goal, you've got Thatcher Demko, who has 16 wins and 3 shutouts already to this point, and a .921 save percentage with a .233 goals against average. Are you kidding me? Are the Canucks a wagon? Speaking of wagons, the Edmonton Oilers were supposed to be a wagon this year, but that wagon fell all the way down a hill and lost a few wheels along the way as they started the year absolutely horrific. They have kind of brought it back now as they fired coach Jay Woodcroft, and Connor McDavid looks like Connor McDavid again. He was really slumping early on in the year. Draisaitl as well. It was not very good over there in Edmonton, but it does seem like they found their game. Will Edmonton be a playoff team? I don't know. That early start really flunked them a little bit, but there is still a ton of season to go. They're only 7 points out of a wildcard spot with games in hand on teams in front of them. So I think that, if the Coyotes start to, mediocre out a little bit and maybe the Predators take a step back as well in the second half, I think the Oilers can definitely make a wildcard spot. I never count out the Oilers. I'll never count out a team with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl on it. I think they're just too special. But yeah, if they get into the playoffs, I do think that there is some potential there to make some noise if their goaltending can stabilize. More coaching change madness here as Jordan Kyrou is asked how he feels about Craig Berube being fired, and he just kind of says, hey, he's not my coach anymore, I don't have a comment. And then the St. Louis Blues fans go on to be super strange and boo him every time he touches the puck. Okay. I don't understand that at all, but go off. They made Jordan Kyrou cry, made a grown man cry on film. They turned him into a meme. So he comes back, he scores, and then they give him a standing ovation the next game. So, you know what? I don't know. Do with that what you will. Speaking of, super strange stuff here, Alex Ovechkin, who's one of the greatest goal scorers in NHL history, if not the greatest, is chasing down Wayne Gretzky for the NHL record in goals. He's not that far off. He's, maybe a couple more seasons, a few more seasons, and he'll have it in the bag, right? Last year he had 42 goals on a really good pace, still aging, and through 28 games this year he has 5 goals. That is a catastrophic fall off. He's on pace for, like, what? a 12, 13, 14 goals this season. That is not very good. And has Alex Ovechkin finally fallen off? Doing the opposite of falling off is the Philadelphia Flyers, who are actually ascending this season. Everybody thought they'd be in the basement, but John Tortorella has his team with an 18-10-3 record at the moment, second in the Metropolitan Division, and they're really impressing. I mean, they're getting good goaltending, they're playing as a team. Who could have saw this coming? The Philadelphia Flyers, watch out for them. Moving on here, let's talk about Pierre-Luc Dubois. I mean, he was traded to the LA Kings. The Kings gave him an 8-year, $8.5 million deal. They traded out Gabe Vilardi, Alex Iafallo, Rasmus Kupari, and a second-round pick in this upcoming draft for him. So obviously they're making a big investment in, you know, maybe the guy that takes Anze Kopitar's spot in the future. Last year he had 63 points in 73 games. It looked like the Kings got a really great player for, you know, admittedly a big package, but a guy that was going to come in and be a very important player for the Kings. Unfortunately for LA, he has been absolutely one of the biggest disappointments on their team, if not the biggest one, getting paid $8.5 million on the first year of that deal. He has only scrounged together 12 points in 28 games. The Kings were seen as this team that really got strong, really got a great player in Dubois, but the Jets might have gotten the best one in the package, as Gabe Vilardi, he did get hurt early on in the season. For a little while, he was out for about a month and a half. He came back and he lit the world on fire, as he has posted 10 points in his last 4 games. He's 13 points now in just 13 games played this season. Gabe Vilardi is turning heads. Now, this offseason, there was a lot of talk about Connor Hellebuyck being moved by Winnipeg. Of course, he was signed to a massive extension, and one of those teams linked to him was the New Jersey Devils, but they just didn't want to pay for a goaltender like that. And now they are paying for it, as they are 6th in the Metro. They have a pretty good team, but they cannot keep the puck out of the back of the net, as Vitek Vanacek has a 3.3 goals against average with an .883 save percentage. That is very, very, very not good. And then if you look at Schmidt, his stats suck too. He's got a 312 goals against average and an .899 save percentage. So all around, the Devils definitely need a goaltender, and I'm sure that they were, you know, probably wishing that they had gone a little bit harder for Connor Hellebuyck this offseason. Maybe they would be a Stanley Cup favorite. But this is the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This is a little bit different than what I usually do. I thought it might be kind of fun to do a little bit of, you know, a little rapid fire, a little quick news story thing for what's been going on in the first half of the year. You know, not specific to any one team, but just kind of talking about what's going on in the league, because I feel like every time I talk about the NHL this year, it's something weird. I mean, there's never anything normal going on in this league. It's just a disaster. Teams that are supposed to be good are, you know, not very good, and teams that are supposed to be bad are playing great. So I don't know what's going on. A lot of weird storylines in the league this year. If I missed anything, I want you to drop it down below. Definitely want to hear from you guys. But yeah, leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, and I will see you in the next one. Go Jets, go. Bye-bye.